Good morning and welcome to Wake Up Well. Every day we put out a short reflection for you to encourage you and to give you an insight into what God might be saying today, and we'll be sort of following on from the stuff that we were talking about on Sunday, and so you'll be able to hear maybe a little bit more about what God might be speaking to us at this time. And we're going to look at a passage today that's in the Gospel of John, and it's in chapter 6, if you want to follow along, John 6, verse 41. And it says like this: "At this, the Jews there began to grumble about him, because he said, 'I am the bread that came down from heaven.' They said, 'Is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How can he now say, I came down from heaven?' 'Stop grumbling among yourselves,' Jesus answered. 'No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws them, and I will raise them up at the last day. It's written in the prophets, they will all be taught by God. Everyone who has heard the Father and learned from him comes to me. No one has seen the Father except the one who is from God. Only he has seen the Father. Very truly I tell you, whoever believes has eternal life. I am the bread of life. Your ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness, yet they died. But here is the bread that comes down from heaven, which people may eat and not die. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will live forever. This bread is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world." We're in the middle of this interesting interaction between Jesus and some of the the scribes and the people who were really smart of the time, the people who really knew what they were talking about. And he put something in a way which confuses even them. They're kind of thrown off by this idea, and they're saying, hang on a minute, how can this Jesus be saying that he's come from heaven when we know who his father and who his mother are? That's really strange. And so they can't reconcile in their head this idea that Jesus is both coming from heaven and also has been born as a human baby. And this is the first thing for us to think about today, and it doesn't really have any kind of answer, but instead it's just something that you can dwell on and that you can think about through the day, which is, how can God be both fully human and fully God in the person of Jesus? Isn't that kind of incredible to think about? But we know because of that Jesus has experienced everything that we experienced. He's been through all of the situations that we've been through. He's grown up from a little baby up into being a fully grown adult human, and then he dies the same way that a human does. There's no shortcuts for him. But at the same time, because he's God, he can do that in a way that is filled with love and grace, and he's able to live that life as a human in a way that we can't even imagine, in a way that is perfect. And he uses this metaphor to kind of describe himself. I guess it's probably a simile, isn't it, if he's used the word like in there. But he's using this image of him being the bread that's sent from heaven. And the people that are listening, they're reminded of this time in their history where they were wandering in the wilderness, and God provided for them this stuff called manna that was like this special bread that came down from heaven to fulfill them and to sustain them and to keep them going in the wilderness. And he says that now even the people that ate that ended up dying, that miraculous gift, but the people that meet Jesus and meet the person of Jesus don't die, and they have eternal life. What could that mean for us today? I think it means this, and it's something for us to think about. It means that we might be in that place where we've come out of the place of slavery, we've come out of Egypt, and we're in the wilderness, and we need in that place to be nourished and to be fed by God every day, to receive the communion with Jesus, to receive himself as the bread of life that we need. But there's actually a promise of a time that's coming when we won't need that anymore. Just as the people of Israel moved out of the wilderness where they relied on the manna for 40 years into the promised land, also for us, we look forward to the time when we no longer need to keep coming back to God to ask for forgiveness again and again. And we no longer need to eat that communion meal to ask for forgiveness, but instead we can eat the celebration feast with God. Wouldn't that be an awesome thing to see? And the promise is that we all get to join in with that kingdom. So today, think about these two things. God, fully man, fully human, walking among us, but still completely divine. And two, how do you eat this bread that sustains us every day, like the manna in the wilderness, but with the hope of stepping into the promise of not needing that anymore? Have a great day.